Good morning, happy Tuesday, everyone. It's just after 9 o'clock, Tuesday, the 28th of February. Oh, end of February. Tomorrow is the 1st of March. Goodness me, how this year is already flying by. 2 months in. So, good morning, everyone. Today's topic is coming from a place of love versus a place of fear. Interesting. And it kind of ties up into a lot of other things that I generally talk about, but this is just another angle of something we can look at, some questions we can ask ourselves, some consideration, some reflection, because all of this helps us. Hi, Cecile, good morning. All of this helps us to be better people and to be better dog guardians. So that's where this exploration goes. That's what it's always about. Remember, there's no right or wrong. We're exploring, we're learning, and we're exploring as we go. So I always welcome you if you're here live with me, but if you're catching the replay, just put hashtag replay and join in the conversation. Share your comments, your experiences, your questions. I really like to interact as much as we can, even though this is kind of a one-way conversation. It's not really. You're welcome, and I welcome your response to my to my reflections, as it were. So thanks for being here. So let's look at this coming from a place of fear versus love. Now, I know that all of us here deeply love our dogs. We certainly do things out of love for them, and that's because we care about them and we want the best for them. We want them to be healthy and happy and pain-free and stress-free, just the same things as we want for ourselves, right? We also want a life that's easy, that flows, that has a lot of joy in it, that has good health. That's what we wish people for their birthdays, for Christmas, for New Year. We wish them health and happiness, and we do the same for our dogs. So it's certainly coming from a place where we care and where we love them, which is great. And that's where that's where it should be coming from, that place of supporting each other from that place, from the heart. However, what I've noticed is that very often it comes from a place of fear. When I say it, I'm talking about the actions that we take, the things that we do, or the things that we think we should be doing with our dogs, for our dogs. Sometimes comes from a place of fear. Well, pretty often, in fact. And this can look like, I've talked about it in the past. I've talked about that heaviness of the responsibility of all the things we have to do with our dogs. The heaviness of, of making sure that their health is the best, that they're getting the best food and the best diet and the best veterinary care, that they are getting the right exercise, the right amount of exercise, the right type of exercise, that we're meeting their mental, emotional, spiritual needs. It's a huge ask, and for those of you who have children, it's the same. We have, as parents, we have a huge ask of ourselves to do everything possible so that that individual child, or in the case of our dogs, is given all the right things so that they can thrive, so that they can be happy and that they can thrive. But this often comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of negativity on ourselves. So either we're giving too much and we're not looking after our own needs, or it comes with a lot of negative self-talk. And by this, it's like that inner critic that comes up, like, if I don't do this, then my dog's not going to be happy, and if I don't do that, then I'm a bad dog guardian, and if I don't do that, well, then I'm not good enough and I can't, and I'm so we start this negative self-talk dialogue. And this is where it becomes interesting, because when we start that, when we're like, oh, I didn't get that right, I shouldn't be doing this, I better go and look for something else, some other new technique, or da 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 da, you know how it goes. When we get into that state, what we're doing is triggering our own stress response inside. And it may not be so obvious sometimes, but the negative self-talk is a clue, is your clue. When you hear that inner critic saying, I'm not good enough, this is not working for me, my dog will never be right, I will never get it right, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah, all of those thoughts will start to trigger a stress response inside you. It starts to trigger that fear response, right? And from a scientific biological point of view, it actually has a function, because if we're stressed about something, if we're thinking something that sets off a stress response, it's really it has a what's the word I'm looking for? It has a sounds the sound is not great, Sue. Oh, thank you, Noreen. I'm gonna if I put my microphone a little bit closer, does that help? Tell me if that's any better. Sorry about that. So I was getting back to the sort of science of what happens. So when we start these negative thoughts in our head, the thoughts will start to trigger an emotional response in our body, and that's normally a stress response, right? It's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a stress response. And as I said, it's actually got a function in that stress response will usually, biologically, it's supposed to say, right, do something about this. You're having this thought, you're having this worry and this concern and this anxiety. Now do something about it. So it has a natural function, and that's for us to say, go and find something, do something to resolve these thoughts. But remember, it's not really a huge problem in the world. It's actually, a lot of it is just up here in the head, that we've decided that this is a big problem because of our inner critic. And this fear response in our body starts to, as I say, trigger our nervous system, right? So now we're in this fight, flight, freeze response, but all inside our body. It's happening internally, right? So again, all the negative thoughts, the feelings, the worry, the anxiety, your heart rate starts going, you don't sleep at night, you're thinking about this. So what we're doing is, instead of like reacting to the outside trigger, as it were, our mind, our thoughts was the trigger. So we almost turn that stress response, we turn that fight, flight, freeze upon ourselves, right? We start to sort of attack ourselves for that. And that's when the inner critic really, kicks in and starts taking action. So it's fight that, this is wrong, you're not good enough, you're bad, you're blah, 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 blah. That's the fight. The flee, the fight, flight, the flight part of it could be running away from it. So you could be, that feeling of desperately trying to get away from it. So find a doctor, find a healthcare practitioner, find a behaviorist, find a whatever. So you're finding people so that they can handle this, because you can't. You don't feel that you can. That's another sort of way of fleeing the problem. Or we could just ignore it and just say, I can't deal with this, and then we just feel terrible, right? Because we're just not good enough dog parents, full stop. I can't do this. And the other one is the freeze, or the shutdown, where we do literally go into shutdown, and it becomes, we kind of escape the world. So escape everything. You and your dog stay at home, don't go out into the world. It's a big scary place. We're never going to do anything out there. This is too unkind. So we'll just stay in our tiny little bubble, and we'll protect ourselves here, and nobody can harm us, nothing can harm us, and we're just going to stay in our bubble. Now, any one of these choices is, as I say, it's always a choice, and it's up to you how you want to live with your dogs. I'm not saying how you should be or shouldn't be, but I'm suggesting that we look at this and say, where are we coming from? Where are we with our dogs in that regard? Are we living in that state of where we in that stressed state, or are we doing things out of just curiosity and appreciation for who they are and for who we are, and just experimenting and trying things out that, maybe this is something that might be helpful and supportive to us, but coming from a place of curiosity, not fear. Not that I have to fix it and it has to be done by a certain time, and only when this is done, then I'll be happy, then my dog will be happy. No. We want to live a good life with our dogs every day now, not in the future when everything's fine, right? We want to just come from that place of love, because that love alone is going to help. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to help your dog feel better. It's going to help everything you do feel better, because when we talk about the polyvagal theory and staying in that green zone, in that place of connection and social engagement, that brings inner peace to our lives. That brings a good biological state inside of us that's completely different to this fear state. So, Noreen, I hope the sound is better now, and I hope that you can hear what I'm saying. I'd love to hear some of your comments around this. How do you feel about that? Can you recognize places where you're coming from a fear state, where you taking action or doing things with your dog because it's coming from fear? And can you recognize when you're doing things from a place of love, from a place of curiosity and connection and wow, this of awe, of just being together, living together, learning from each other, and trying things to make, trying to make ourselves happy and our dogs happy, but just from that place of contentment and love and acceptance of who we are. So I'm waiting for some comments. I hope you can even hear me because the last one was the sound is not great. So I'll just wait to see if any comments are coming through there. I never know how to change anything here on the screen, unfortunately. Cecile says, from a place of here, I'm paralyzed, so not doing much, or having to really go against myself. Oops, please, place of fear. Coming from a place of fear, I'm paralyzed, so not doing much, or having to really go against myself. Hard to miss, yes. So that's that paralyzed sometimes, that place of, that's that sort of freeze response where you paralyze because there's so much you think you have to do, and that you don't know where to start. That's that kind of freeze response, or having to really go against myself. Yeah, so oh, you're driving, Noreen. Please don't be answering or typing things, please, if you're driving. Yeah, so oops. So Cecile says yes. So Cecile, can you expand for me on having to really go against yourself? What does that mean? Go against yourself. Is that sort of that negative critic, that head chat, or is that something else that you're meaning by that? Really go against yourself. So yeah, it's something interesting to consider. I'll give you a really simple for me, it's just one of the examples that's come up for me recently was Layla has really troubles with her nails, her claws, and her nails are very brittle. They crumble easily, they break easily, they tear easily. And over the years, I've tried many different things because, I recognize that it doesn't look good. It probably is painful, although she doesn't lick her paws, she doesn't show me that she's in signs of pain, but I certainly think it must be, because if I've torn a nail or my fingers are really hard and dry, it must be, in certain weather conditions, must be uncomfortable. At least from my point of view, that's what I believe, right? And so it's I've always had the sort of fear that, am I doing enough? I've tried lots of different things. I've been to different vets. I've asked for different treatments, and all of them have helped to a certain amount, but not really, and one of the things that things that I read in trying to research it and look it up was that it is a what do you call it? I'm losing my words. When the body attacks itself, it's autoimmune disease. So there's, again, it has to come from the inside. We have to start looking at it, not really just treating outside symptoms. So it's a long thing, how do you even go about that? How do you diagnose it? How do you do it? And I could go really down a whole rabbit hole with this, or I could just say, I'm going to sit 5 minutes each day and just do one little toe and come from such a place of love and healing and gratitude for who she is, and awe and wonder for the way she just continues with life, not worrying about her feet the way they are. So that's what I've been doing. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, I need to find another thing and another remedy and another vet and another diagnosis, I've realized that there's very little I can do in the greater scheme of things. Not very little, there's lots I can do, but would that be coming from a place of fear and continuous anxiety and worry, and am I getting it right? Or would that come from a place of, I really accept who you are, know who you are. I'm helping you to get through this as best I can without going overboard and without coming from that place of fear, just that place of love. So as I say, just one little thing at a time. I just spend 5 minutes with her each day because she doesn't really like her paws touched, obviously, because it's uncomfortable. So I will just stroke her paws, tell her how wonderful it is. And I've started just treating one little nail a day, one little toe a day, one little pad a day. And she's starting to accept that and enjoy it and love that time together with me, as opposed to being, I have to do this because if I don't treat your feet, it's going to be, you're going to be in pain, you're going to have blah, 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 split nails and blah, blah, blah. I'm doing it in a completely different mindset, coming from a different place, and it's really, really working for us. So that's just an example. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but maybe it does. Give us a shout out if you have an example of where you've experienced maybe that you were coming from a place of fear and shifted gears and been able to come from a place of love instead, or a place of understanding, compassion, empathy, kindness, without the worry and the anxiety. Interesting. Cecile, thank you, says, it means forcing myself to do something that I resist, although I know that what I resist is what I'm not ready for. Good, 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 good. That's a lovely insight. So yes, forcing ourselves to do something that doesn't feel right. So it's like, oh, I have to do this because I've been told to do it, or some expert said that I have to do it this way. And you're sort of forcing yourself to do it, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel, you're resisting it. It could be that resisting could be like what you said, I'm not ready for it. It's not, it doesn't sit well with me, whatever that is. So listen to that resistance sometimes, because it does. Sometimes it's saying you're on the wrong path. It's not the right thing for you. It's not the right time for you. So listen, it's important information when we get that. So it doesn't mean you have to just push through and do it just because so-and-so said, or because you read, because that's going to come from that place of fear. And then I think the last one I wanted, hi Les, the last thing I wanted to mention was when we're coming from that place of fear as well, what happens is that not only does our internal stress system kick in, but what happens when that stress system kicks in? We actually have things like a rapid heart rate sometimes, even though we don't notice it. Maybe it's a little bit there. We're not sleeping. We're worried, etc. How do our dogs know our sense of state and our mood, etc.? We know there's science to prove it now. Dogs can sense when we're in a fearful, anxious state, or if we're in a calm, relaxed, regulated state, right? I talk about this a lot, about our own self-regulation. So when we're coming from that place of fear, we are projecting fear state. We are projecting a fear state out onto our dog. Now imagine you don't speak my language, and I'm there to support you, right? I come from another country, and I can see that perhaps, or I feel that you need some assistance, you need some help and some support. And I'm coming from that place of fear, to help you do things. You have to do this, and you have to do it like this because I need you to do it like this, because that's my fear playing out. How does that feel for that other person if they don't understand the words I'm using? Can it feel like a little bit of a forced situation? You're forcing upon me, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you're trying to help me, but it doesn't feel like that because it's coming from that place of, I can, sense your discomfort around it. It's my discomfort around that issue that I'm now forcing upon my dog or that other person. Well, not forcing, but you know what I mean. It's, I need you to do this. I need you to get well. I need you to be better. That's sort of what we're expressing to them in an outside world. Our dogs pick up on that. That's how they communicate. That's how they understand us, is by watching our body language and feeling into our emotions and our mood. So again, check yourself if you're asking them to do things with that. And 9 times out of 10, it's unconscious. We don't even realize it. But if we are coming from that place, you have to do this, we need to do this, come on now, we've got to do this, all of those things, our dogs are picking up on that. And they can't feel that it's this is my own reflection. I don't think it can feel very comfortable for them the way we are trying to support them in that way if we're coming from that place. But coming from a place of love and let's try this and in curiosity and joy, it's coming from a completely different heart space, which they see as, oh, let's get curious about this too. I wonder what this is. Let's try it out and see what happens. So that's, I think, everything that I wanted to say today. I'm just going to check my notes. Yeah, one last thing I just wrote there is it doesn't all have to be done at once. We all are a work in progress. Our whole life is a work in progress. We're all, from the time we're a child to the time we are an adult, we are learning and growing. We are developing ourselves. We are becoming new people. We are exploring. We never stop learning, never. And it's the same with our dogs. They always, they're also learning. They're also on their own spiritual path, as it were, here on this earth, on this planet, and on this journey with us. They're also developing and growing and learning. And we can't have everything perfect. It's just not possible. It's just not reality. We all have ups and downs. There's ebb and flow in life. It's normal. But if we take it at the pace like, well, this is what today is, and this is what today brings, and this is what I'm going to deal with today. If that's a good thing, a bad thing, whatever, I'm going to embrace it, learn from it, grow from it, and then move forward to the next day. Instead of trying to say, oh, this is my long list of things I have to do to my dog to make sure that they're well. We're missing out on so much life when we do that. We're missing out on, everyday joy moments, etc., because we hung up in that fear and that worry of the things that we have to do in order to make life good for us. So I know it sounds very melodramatic, but sometimes I think this is happening on an unconscious level that we're not even aware of. So definitely awareness is a big, big step in that direction to just become more aware of it, of our thoughts and our actions and where they're coming from. So if there's any other comments, I would love to hear them, but that's all I have to say for today. If you have any examples of where you have experience coming from that place of fear or love, I would love to hear them. Please type them in the comments because everybody can relate to them or resonate with them and certainly learn from them. We can learn that, oh gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that. You're right. What else? What other options have I had? There are so many other options and opportunities and possibilities of the way we go about living with our dogs. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in and being here with me. Noreen, I hope you get safely to wherever your destination is, work, I presume. Or maybe it's driving to walk the dog. I'm not sure. But thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful Tuesday and a good start to the month of March, which begins tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye now.